From big-time movie studios to other famous brands that may be associated with the Illuminati and more, here are 10 secrets hidden within famous logos. Number 10. Metro Goldwyn Mayer. One of the biggest and most easily recognizable logos out there features a lion roaring at the crowd to welcome them to their production. You know what I'm talking about. You see it in the beginning of certain movies. It's the Metro Goldwyn Mayer. MGM is one of the biggest and longest-running production studios in the United States, and was even a major part of the golden age of filmmaking in Hollywood. So yeah, that lion sequence has been going on for decades. Now, originally, the lion was just a static lion and done in a way to make it feel more real. But eventually, MGM really did bring in an actual lion to do the legendary roar for the sequence. Their lion mascot was not surprisingly called Leo, who would go on to become a bit of a pop culture icon, as well as having many urban legends attached to the big cat. One of the wild rumors made people think that Leo was strapped down so that he would perform the roar as people wanted. But guess what? That image is fake. Sorry. Actually, not sorry. That would have been incredibly heartbreaking and cruel. The image was photoshopped and manipulated. This actual image of a lion being held down was from 2005. It was a sick lion in Israel getting an MRI. Besides, if you look up Leo the lion, you'll easily be able to find pictures of him from nearly 100 years ago next to filmers and photographers back in 1928, showing him doing the pose for the roar, which goes to show how much faith they had in Leo because, if you notice, he's not tied down or anything. He's just there, ready to perform, feet away from the film crew. What a well-behaved kitty. And oh, what a different time the 1920s were. Number 9. Toblerone. There are a lot of chocolate makers out there, and we all have our favorites, no doubt, but easily one of the more unique ones we forget about sometimes is Toblerone, who not only had a unique mixture of chocolate that was fun to eat, but the shape of the Toblerone themselves were rather special, because while everyone else was making square chocolate, they were out there making triangular-shaped chocolate, and the world didn't seem to mind that much. But heading now to the logo for the famous chocolate, on its particular packaging, you wouldn't think much of it at first. It's just the name under a logo of a mountain, which if you really think about it, fits because its mountain peaks is triangle-shaped, just like the Toblerone bar. You probably never noticed the secret image hidden on the box. If you focus closely on the mountain, and more specifically if you focus on the snow in the mountain, you'll see a bear standing on its hind legs hiding in plain sight. The reason for this ties into the origins of Toblerone itself. The creator of this special chocolate was Theodor Tobler, who was born in the Swiss city of Bern. Bern itself had a coat of arms that had a bear in it. When Tobler made the chocolate, he decided to hide the bear in the mountain to honor his homeland. The mountain itself is, of course, the famous Matterhorn of the Swiss Alps, which you can see from Bern. So given that, you'd think the triangle shape of the bar was inspired by the mountains. But in fact, it was inspired by ballerinas that were seen by Tobler in Paris. The more you know. Hey, if you want to know even more, hit that subscribe button for more videos like these, and go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Number 8. Wikipedia. The age of information that we are in is rooted in several different sites. Obviously, one of them is Google, which will send you all over the internet in order to find the information you need. But the other site that is a haven of information is that of Wikipedia. Granted, the site has been known to have some creative editing by certain users, but overall, the brand is rather beloved as a one-stop shop to learn just about anything about just about anyone or anything in particular. And of course, the logo of Wikipedia is something special in and of itself, and much more complex than you might know. It looks like a simple sphere, made up of puzzle pieces with letters and symbols from all over the world to symbolize that this is a global database. As you might have noticed, the letters from different languages that are shown in the logo spell Wikipedia, which is a simple nod to its name. It's meant to symbolize that knowledge is multilingual. Furthermore, as noted, the sphere global is incomplete. That's not just to have a cool look. That's to show that we'll never have all the knowledge of the world, which is something that Wikipedia openly admits in its texts by not just having lots of sources, but indicating various numbers about things and even saying when something isn't sourced. So while it may seem proper and simple, the logo of Wikipedia is truly a symbol of not just the website, but for knowledge in general. Because knowledge is evolving, and Wikipedia knows that and grows alongside it. Number 7, Amazon. You could argue that Amazon was already the biggest company in the world before the global pandemic, but when that hit, all of a sudden, it was basically the only thing going, and everyone was relying on it in such a way that founder Jeff Bezos made billions because everyone was using it so often just to stay alive and get the supplies they needed and more. Its logo is rather simple. You might not think too much of it. Take a look at the arrow itself. It starts at the A in Amazon, and then in a swoosh, underlines the word and ends at the Z. This is meant to say that Amazon can get you pretty much anything from A to Z. If you really look at Amazon, they do pretty much have everything you could ever want, and even some things you didn't really know you needed. It's almost scary at times just how good they are at this. Plus, the arrow is also meant to be a kind of smile, one that is supposed to indicate that when you buy from Amazon, you're going to have a smile on your face because you know your package will come quickly and easily. Number 6. Levi's. Let's now talk about clothes. Levi's has been one of the most popular jean brands in the world for a very long time. They've been doing their thing since 1853, but they haven't always had the same logo. The Levi's brand logo that you see today, that wasn't made until the 1960s, when they were trying to refresh the image of their brand. The red batwing logo, as it's called, has helped the brand stay solid throughout many decades. And in fact, they sell millions of logo t-shirts every single year. I personally never noticed the logo as red batwings. Did you? So what's the hidden message in this particular logo? If you look at the bottom of the logo and you see the 2 curved indents, and you might not think anything of it, but then you'll see it. It kind of looks like a butt. Yeah, fans of the brand really think that they worked that look in there because they wanted to symbolize that if you want your butt to be comfortable in your jeans, you wear Levi's, which would make a killer tagline, we'll admit. But is that the case here? It's honestly hard to say because Levi's themselves have never admitted to that. But now that you know it's there, you can't unsee it. Number 5, Wendys. The fast food industry is likely one that will never die. As long as we want food fast, there will be companies that make it happen. People sometimes don't want to spend the time, or maybe they don't have it, to make a home-cooked meal. Rather, they'd like to go and just get something fast, quick, and satisfying. Wendys may not be your first choice, but the popular brand has been kicking butt for years, and part of it is due to its slightly creepy, yet somewhat endearing logo of the red-headed girl with pigtails smiling at you. Now, officially, the Wendys logo is one of the original founders, Dave Thomas, his daughter Wendy. Not only did she pose for the picture, she was also featured in Wendy's commercials as well. Wendy now runs the whole franchise. So, where's the hidden message? You won't see it at first because Wendy is smiling at you, and that's what gets your attention. But if you look closely, you'll notice the word mom in her collar. Yeah, it's there. The rumors state that this is meant to be a subliminal message from Wendy, to say that if you truly want family-worthy cooking, you need to come to Wendy's. After this rumor circulated, Wendy's response was that it wasn't intentional, but thanks fans for spreading the word about it. Number 4, Walt Disney. In the year 2020, you could argue that there's no bigger brand in the world than Walt Disney, and for very obvious reasons. They own not only animation studios like their home branch and Pixar, but they own Lucasfilm, Marvel, and most recently, 21st Century Fox. They are an entertainment juggernaut that literally started out with a mouse. Actually, they started out with Oswald the Rabbit, but that's another story. The creator was the one and only Walt Disney, who is a man shrouded in speculation and mystery as to why he did certain things the way he did. And this goes even into the very logo of his self-named company. Walt Disney, according to some urban legends, is stated to have been a member of the Illuminati and possibly associated with the devil himself. So yeah, there's that. Because of that, some even think that the Walt Disney logo contains the numbers 666, the number of the beast from the Bible. So where is it? If you look at the cursive used for the W, the dot on the I, and the Y at the end, you can make out 3 6s. It's a bit of a reach, as I'm sure you'll admit, but some people just love to make up stories about Disney, so they'll keep believing this. Number 3, Google. Google practically owns the internet. It's the biggest and best search engine in the world, And I bet you've used it at least once or twice in the last day or so, because it's that useful. And as you know, they rotate the artwork for their logo to have fun with their researchers and symbolize various things during the year. Google's logo at its core, though, is just 6 letters with some colors. But according to graphic designer Ruth Kedar, there's a lot that went into it. They apparently tested out a lot of different color palettes, but they ended up with 3 primary colors before putting in the green secondary color for the L, so that they could show that Google doesn't follow the rules. It's a subtle thing, but yes, an actual statement of nonconformity. And it works. Number 2, Nike. While Nike may be the top shoe brand in the world right now, they didn't start out that way. They were at one time buried beneath Adidas and Converse. But then when Michael Jordan came around, the brand exploded and the rest is history. And with that history is the legendary Nike swoosh that symbolizes that it's Nike and you're wearing it. That logo was made by Carolyn Davidson for $35. It's one of the cheapest logos in business history. Don't worry, she got paid heavily later on. She was rewarded with chocolate and diamond swooshes and 500 company shares worth over $1 million today. The reason the swoosh came to Davidson's mind, though, is that Nike is also the name for the Greek goddess of victory, so it symbolizes a wing and a checkmark. Number 1, Pepsi. Who out there likes Pepsi? I would bet a lot of you do, and their logo is not only iconic, it's one of the most evolving, and a very expensive one. The 2008 rebrand of the Pepsi logo cost a whopping $1 million. Why go that big for the rebrand? That would be because the logo has the legendary and infamous golden ratio, a set of shapes and colors that are apparently so perfectly proportioned that it's the most pleasing thing to the eye, which for someone like Pepsi, who wants to sell all sorts of Pepsi products, it's worth shelling out the extra dough just so even one more person would buy their products. Thanks for watching. What did you think of these famous logos that had secrets hidden within them? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!